Namaskar, good afternoon, and welcome to this weekly press briefing. I have one announcement to make, and after that we will move into the question and answer round. The government of the United Arab Emirates has decided to confer the country's highest civilian award, the Order of Zayed, on the Prime Minister of India. This singular honor is in recognition of the efforts of the government under the Prime Minister's leadership to develop the strategic partnership between India and the UAE. We greatly appreciate this honor bestowed upon the Prime Minister by His Highness Crown Prince Mohammed bin Zayed and the government of the UAE. The UAE is home to the largest number of our citizens outside India and is our partner in diverse pillars of cooperation, including investment, energy, defense, and security. And I'm sure you must have seen the reaction of our External Affairs Minister on this honor as well. I now open the floor to questions. Madhurend and then Siddhant.
सर, ये जो जायद अवार्ड का अनाउंसमेंट हुआ है, क्या आप ये मोदी जाएंगे यूएई इसे रिसीव करने के लिए? आगे की फॉर्मेलिटीज़ क्या होगी और किस तरह से अवार्ड उनको दिया जाएगा?
इससे जुड़ा कोई और सवाल? नहीं, देखिए, एक तो मैं बताना चाहूँगा कि भारत और यूएई के बीच में जो हमारे संबंध हैं, स्ट्रेटेजिक पार्टनरशिप का संबंध है, और जो हाल के सालों में ये काफ़ी मजबूत हुआ है। और मैं ये भी बताना चाहूँगा कि जो एक्सचेंज ऑफ हाई लेवल विजिट्स होती है, वो किसी भी स्ट्रेटेजिक पार्टनरशिप का एक अभिन्न अंग होता है। जब भी ऐसे किसी हाई लेवल विजिट की प्लानिंग होगी, तब हम आपको ज़रूर बताएंगे, क्योंकि इसका एक एस्टैब्लिश्ड नॉर्म होता है हाई लेवल विजिट के अनाउंसमेंट का। इसको मैं इंग्लिश में बताना चाहूँगा कि वी एन्जॉय a strategic partnership with the UAE, which has strengthened in recent years. Exchange of high-level visits between India and UAE is an important component of this strategic partnership. As and when the next visit is planned, we will share the details with you as per the established norms. Siddhant.
Sir, we saw a statement from the United Nations condemning India's action on deportation of Rohingyas to Myanmar. So your reaction to that? And secondly, on Kartarpur, have you received any kind of reaction from the Pakistani government after India raised the issue of Khalistanis being appointed at the committee?
Siddhant, on the first question, we have seen the statement to which you are referring. The interpretation which have been made of the facts of the case as portrayed in the statement are misleading and incorrect. We have to remember that the repatriation of illegal immigrants to their country of origin is in accordance with Indian laws. These actions have been undertaken in response to the instructions of India's courts, which have required the government at the state as well as at the union to detect, detain, and deport illegal immigrants. In this sense, the government will continue to take actions as may be necessary to implement the Indian laws and to conform to the instructions of the judiciary. On the second query regarding Kartarpur, Siddhant, we have issued a press statement. I think when we had, postponed the second round of talks. I think it is important to remember that we remain committed to realize the wishes and aspirations of the people, the aspirations which flow out of a pending demand of Indian pilgrims to visit the holy Gurudwara Kartarpur Sahib, using the corridor as a safe, secure, smooth and easy manner. At the same time, I'm sure you are aware that there are certain things which came to our notice. We had sought clarifications from Pakistan on a number of issues, and those issues have been mentioned in the press statement which was released. I think there was a press briefing immediately after the first round of talks on the number of pilgrims who can visit Delhi, on the issue of visas, etc. Now, those were the clarifications which still remain unaddressed by Pakistan. And the second part is we had also shared our concerns on reports that controversial elements, they have been appointed by Pakistan to a committee which was to be associated with Kartarpur corridor. We are yet to receive a response from Pakistan, and therefore that was the reason why we decided to postpone the meeting. You are aware that we have offered to hold the technical level discussions to finalize other aspects of the corridor, and as and when Pakistan responds to that offer, that the technical level talks will take place. Ji, Ranjit ji.
The Chinese ambassador to India has published a big article in a newspaper today in which he has proposed treaty of good neighborliness and friendly cooperation. Have you received any formal proposal regarding this?
No, you don't receive a proposal for good neighborly relations and good relations with a neighbor.
It's a treaty. He has proposed a treaty.
I am not aware of any such treaty which we have received, from the Chinese side. I think you are referring to the article which is written in a newspaper.
Right.
I am not aware of any such formal proposal which we have received from the Chinese side.
Okay.
Riza.
The statement on the meeting of the Joint Working Group with Canada on terrorism, there was a mention of concerns being discussed about Khalistan at that meeting. Could we have a little bit more on that? I mean, what sort of, what did the discussions center around? Was there any mention of the referendum 2020, the so-called referendum 2020 that Khalistanis are talking about?
If you could just elaborate, I mean, which meeting are you referring to specifically?
India-Canada counterterrorism meeting, just a few days ago.
Yeah, we have this ongoing counterterrorism cooperation with Canada. And we have already issued a statement, a press release on the discussions which have taken place. There are certain things, of course, which I am not at the liberty to announce from this forum. I think that is something which, of course, gets discussed between the two sides. But so beyond what has already been released, I am not able to share. I won't be able to share anything. Srinjo?
So on the Masood Azhar issue, the Chinese have said that they are going to deal with this responsibly and so on. Now, has any kind of communication come from Beijing to India on this?
So, Srinjo, I have mentioned from this forum that that we are grateful to all member states, who supported us, at the time of listing of Masood Azhar as a designated terrorist at the UNSC under 1267. We have also thanked the unprecedented number of members who joined in that effort. At this stage, I can only say that we are continuing our diplomatic efforts to ensure that terrorists who are involved in heinous attacks on our citizens are brought to justice. Elizabeth?
There was a statement which was put out by the Pakistan ISPR, which basically said, for the first time, they said that, F-16s were involved in the 27, attack on India, if I can put it like that. But the F-16s were used for defense, self-defense, and any such act which uses in which the F-16s were involved was basically self-defense. I'm just wondering, how does...
What is the question?
My question is basically this, that Foreign Secretary did travel to the US some time ago. Was this one of the issues that was discussed? How are we going to take this forward? Because in terms of asking the US for some action on this, because Pakistan has clearly stated that this is something that they used not to attack, but for self-defense.
See, I don't think I will get into the interpretation of how and in what circumstances Pakistan used F-16. Now, this is something which we have said from the beginning. I don't think we have ever changed our position that Pakistan has used F-16. And Foreign Secretary had also mentioned earlier that this is something which we have flagged to the United States. There was a statement which also came from the United States on this matter. Now, a response on this, whether and under what circumstances F-16 is or is not allowed is something which will have to come from the United States. But I think our statement and the facts of the matter as far as we are concerned is that it was used, and we understand that as per the understanding of use of F-16 between Pakistan and US, it should not have been done, and that is why we had flagged it to the US. And as far as the matter getting raised during Foreign Secretary's visit, I am not aware of this matter is specifically getting raised during his visit. Yes, please.
The Syrian ambassador last week held a press conference in which he said now that the conflict was almost over, Syria was embarking on a great reconstruction process, and they have discovered large deposits of gas and hydrocarbons, and the government has invited Indian companies to invest in these areas. So,
No, the question?
So has the government received any invitation from their government?
No, you see, these are all aspects of a bilateral relationship. When you discuss, when you sit down and discuss bilateral cooperation, the trade and investment is a very important component of our cooperation. I'm not aware of any discussion which might have taken place between the two sides recently, but I can tell you that from the Syrian side, I think this is one aspect which has been coming to us in terms of enhancing our cooperation in trade and investment. We also have to keep in mind that while the government can kind of create that enabling environment, but I think it is a call which the private sector has to take as far as investment in that country is concerned. But yes, I think this is one area where the two countries are working very closely. Ji.
The question about Eurasia and particularly in Tajikistan, there's a lot of reported, as in media, there is a military base in Ayani, in Tajikistan. What is the official view of Ministry of External Affairs? Is it a military base, or how do you define that, in Tajikistan?
No, I think this is a query which I think you will have to address to the Ministry of Defense. From this podium, I will not get into, frankly, for me to kind of comment on something which kind of pertains to another ministry will be difficult. Yeah. Manas.
Just a waiver to India and several other countries by US on import of Iranian oil is coming to an end very soon, in weeks. So have we got any kind of indication from the US about the possible extension of the waiver? Or in fact, are we engaged with US? What's the status?
Manas, we are engaging with the US. I think since the first announcement, the first waiver came, I think we have continued to engage with the US administration. The waiver lapses on the 4th of May. Let's wait and see what happens. But I think the important thing is that we will continue our engagement to see if we are kind of taking care of our energy security. But the important thing is that the discussions and the not negotiation, but engagement should continue, and which is continuing between India and the US.
Sir, Nirav Modi's bail rejection has denied second time. Can we expect his extradition, and will we going to produce new evidence against him on next hearing, 26th?
No, it's
April?
very difficult to anticipate, anything in this matter. You see, I think this is now gone to the court. It's now listed with the Westminster court. You are aware that his second request for bail has been denied. What I can tell you is on the facts of the matter is that the judge has also decided that the case will be listed by the court on a date after 30th May 2019. So kind of to preempt what will be the decision and how quickly this can happen is difficult. But of course, the agencies and the High Commission of India, the Government of India, we are putting a lot of effort into this to ensure that the process of extradition of Nirav Modi is completed at the earliest. But we have to go through the due process. I don't see. Yes, please.
I would just request you to clarify, even with Venezuela, the oil kind of taking is over, I think?
No, in fact, you must have read the reports of Foreign Secretary's visit to the US. Now, I'm not aware of any specific discussion which might have taken place or which has taken place between India and the US to kind of cut down imports from Venezuela. But I also would suggest that on these matters, especially in terms of how much reduction has happened, etc., I think it will be useful if you contact the nodal ministry, which is the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. I don't see any other hand. Thank you very much for joining.